But no, we can jump to our questions. You're absolutely correct. First question I want to ask you, Justin. Why does God hate the Bears? What did we do?
I don't think it's God hating the Bears. I think why do the Bears have such bad OCs and coaches, right?
Yeah.
When you, just like you said in the beginning of our episode, when you look at least the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, there are a lot of things I can look at and be like, why was this player in this scheme? Mm-hmm. Why did we run this play? Mm-hmm. So realistically, I feel like if we would have had better coaching, we probably wouldn't even let them. There would not have been even a chance of letting them score after we had the lead, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think what made me even more mad was like the responses, right? Like you said about Eberflus and how he was like, well, we weren't worried about that play. Like, no, you should be. I mean, yes, you never want to show the other team fear or like that you're worried, but in your mind, you're ready to be thinking like, oh snap, like, let's put a stop to this. And I don't think they did. I didn't even get a chance to see the Shane Waldron post game. I don't.
I don't
feel
even
like
want to see the same.
Yeah, I don't even want to see it. So. I don't feel like God hates the Bears. I feel like the Bears hate
the Bears.
No, the Bears hate. No, they definitely do. No,
Yeah.
I feel like the Bears did this to themselves. And the question I was kind of thinking of like is, did the Commanders win or did the Bears lose? And no, the Bears just lost this game because we had a lead. I can see if the Commanders if the final score was 0-18 and we just
didn't show up. Yeah,
we can say quote unquote the Commanders dominated, but the fact that we had we got the first play by Swift and then we scored again, like it just. Yeah, we had a lead and we blew a lead. Like that's like the worst thing in like modern pro sports is having a lead and then losing it. Why do you think people still talk about 28-3? Right?
And choking.
Yeah. It was just overall bad. So I don't know if I should blame Ryan Poles. I feel like he's been a good GM, but bro, come on. You saw what happened. You were there.
Well, he came in the same year as Eberflus. So
right.
I've always thought, and this is, I guess, a little side tangent, but I've always thought that he maybe Eberflus isn't his guy, and maybe he's waiting for the right opportunity to fire Matt Eberflus. But he had that opportunity last offseason.
Sure did.
So I don't know what the holdup
is, yeah.
But he did not hire Eberflus because he got hired at the same time as him. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see what he feels about Eberflus now. That would be something that
would be something. But I want to ask you, Mike, what the heck happened to the offense yesterday?
So I think that it was a combination of a lot of Achilles heels that the Bears have had so far this year. First of all, they've been terrible in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They have been really bad. They have come out every single week looking bad offensively, at least the first 4 or 5 drives of the game. Jacksonville, they caught fire, throughout the rest of the game, but they have not been a good fourth quarter team. And I think that speaks to the lack of preparation from Shane Waldron, right? He does not have a good game script. In fact, he didn't have a game script until a couple of weeks ago. He does not scheme guys open. He doesn't take advantage of what the defense has shown on film throughout the weeks, right? I think that's just a huge lack of coaching on his part. Caleb Williams also did not have a good first 3 quarters, like I mentioned. He was inaccurate. He was a little jittery. And another Achilles here is the offensive line, right? Especially when you lose Braxton Jones for the majority of the game, like the Bears did.
Yeah.
They just have no time to develop routes down the field. They don't have running lanes half the time. Like Caleb Williams is having to move off platform and create with his legs, which he's very good at. But NFL offenses are about timing. They're about precision. They're about accuracy. And when those things get thrown off because of the pass rush, you're kind of up in the air, like what's going to go on. So I think it's the combination of those 3 things. I don't think the Commanders' defense is particularly good. They've been one of the worst units in the NFL this year so far. So that's why I really thought that the Bears' offense would have a nice day.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, their defensive line is solid, but I just and then like I said, like where was DJ Moore for 90% of this game? Where was Cole Kmet?
Yeah.
Rome Odunze got involved a little bit, but why are we throwing
too little, too late?
Yeah. Why are we throwing it to Gerald Everett in the first? Like,
no.
Again, I don't know what his obsession is with Gerald Everett. It's really, really odd to me. But again, we have good players. Like the Bears' issue is not talent. They have good skill position players. They just, in key situations, in key moments, for chunks of games, can't seem to get the ball to those guys. And I've mentioned it all year. that was Shane Waldron's problem in Seattle, right? DK Metcalf would go entire quarters without getting targets. Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, whoever. And we're seeing the same problems happen with the Bears.
Yeah.
And, my mom likes to tell me this all the time. When you do the same thing over and over and over again, you expect a different result. You're insane.
Yeah, insanity.
It's insanity. And I think he's insane, unfortunately. So
it's time to send him to the
Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Shane Waldron. All right.
Yeah.
Justin, do you think the Bears have a culture problem?
No, I don't think it's a culture problem. I think it's a coaching problem because you just said we can win the game. We actually had a lead in this game. It wasn't like we sat up here and got blown out and we just played god awful. So I don't think it's a culture problem, but I do think it's a coaching problem in how we're setting up our different schemes and different plays. And this is not the first time this season that we've sat up here and been like, why was this play called?
Yeah.
Why are we having this person receive the ball at this time?
Yeah.
So I don't really think it's a culture problem. In fact, I love our Bears culture from a couple of years ago where it's kind of stagnant and boring.
Yeah.
I love the energy of Caleb Williams. I love the energy of some of our defensive players. Like, that is what you want. You want a young and upcoming team that shows potential, which we do have here. But the problem is that our play calling is so trash that it creates questions like these, like, do we have a culture problem? We don't, but the scary thing is it can become a culture problem if mistakes like these keep happening. Then it's like, oh, they're the Chicago Bears. That's what they're known for, right?
Yeah.
And our players aren't really known for that because this is the first year of having all of these great guys on our squad. Yeah. But coaching has a lot of reasons to why we're playing this way. So
you're saying it's more of a schematic thing than it is a culture.
No, because I mean, the only real gossipy culture thing you could say is the first couple of weeks when it was, DJ Moore and Caleb Williams are not getting along. But as you could see, as they started winning, things were fine. So I think it's more of what you said. It's not really more of a culture problem in my opinion. So
but I think I agree with you by and large. I think the only rebuttal I might have is the Tyreek Stevenson thing at the end.
Sure. That was dumb.
That's something that
he's not a rookie, but I mean,
that's something you see from bad college teams. Like, do you remember a while ago? I remember a couple years ago, and this is kind of off topic, but it's reminiscent. Do you remember a couple years ago that Florida player that threw the LSU guys cleat? And they got the 15-yard penalty, and then the LSU team won. Yep. That's kind of what that reminds me of, in the sense of just complete negligence for the game, complete just I mean, you can insert whatever choice word you want to use, but that was dumb. That was just straight up dumb. And I remember that video of him just looking at the crowd, and that makes every Bears fan blood boil. I sent it to Justin. He said the guy should be running laps all week. He should be the best conditioned player I've ever seen next week. But I think the last question that we have, I think we can both take a swing at this. What do the Bears need to fix this? And I'll start. They need to fire Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus needs to go. Shane Waldron needs to go. Neither one of those coaches have elevated this team in any substantial way. No. Right? Matt Eberflus he has coached a good defense. Absolutely great job. That is something that could be done by a really good defensive coordinator. Right? I have not seen – I mean, this Bears unit is an all-time elite. They're very, very good. But they also have really good players. And I think that a really good defensive coordinator could get a similar result. But when you look at the Bears, they are ill-prepared. They are situationally poor. They have so many they had so many procedural penalties yesterday. False starts. They had delay of games. They had everything. It was just bad. It was a poorly coached team. And then Shane Waldron, like we've said, has been severely holding back this offense. I think the Bears need to fire Matt Eberflus. That's why I've kind of said from the beginning, I don't think this is our year to be back. No. I think this is the building block year. I think this is Caleb Williams' rookie year. Most great artists, their first album isn't their best album. No. Right? You gotta work through it a little bit before you get to To Pimp a Butterfly or one of those good ones, right?
Of course, yeah.
But I think that the Bears need to clean house with their coaching staff. I don't really have a problem with the players on their roster. I think that they have a good team on paper. But this coaching staff, they just need to be taken out like garbage on Thursday afternoon.
No, I agree. And, I mean, that's the same thing. I mean, we need to have a different head coach. I mean, I think the Matt Eberflus era was great, but now it's time to end it. And, we need somebody who is more experience on the offensive side because, he's known as a defensive coach, which our defense, yes, we let them score 18 points, but it was an ugly game if you actually watched it, right?
Yeah. Even with the Hail Mary, 18 points isn't bad.
It's not bad at all, right?
Yeah.
So our defense is still pretty good, but our offense needs to be a lot better, and I just don't think he's the man for the job, unfortunately.
Do you have – I guess we can talk about this for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any potential coaches that you're looking for in 2025 to go to the Bears? Because I have one that I would love.
Go for it. Yeah, I'm
Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
When you look at the Lions, they are so talented, and he squeezes every ounce of ability out of his players. David Montgomery looks like prime Emmitt Smith.
No,
right?
seriously,
Jahmyr Gibbs
right?
looks like Barry Sanders. Jared Goff looks like Peyton Manning. Amon-Ra St. Brown is like Jerry Rice. Like these guys are performing very well. He is situationally sound. He knows when to kind of get cute and fancy and run all these little trick plays, which he's better at than I think anybody in the NFL. But he also knows that the Lions can be a smash-mouth football team. And they can run the ball down teams' throat. I would love if Ben Johnson would want to take over for the Chicago Bears. Now, he was a hot coaching commodity last year.
Yeah.
And I believe he was down to Seattle and Washington. And he didn't take either job. And I'm wondering why he didn't take Washington, because I personally would have think that would be a very attractive job, especially considering they were going to get Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
But maybe, just maybe, he was holding out for Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Maybe.
Because the Bears coaching job, if it opens up in come, January, February, would be one of the best jobs that we've seen open in a long time.
Yeah.
You have a stud quarterback. You have weapons all over the field.
Yeah.
You have a great defense. Don't get me wrong, the division's hard.
Yeah.
But the NFC as a whole is not as good as it was a couple of years ago.
Right.
I mean, there would be a lot of head coaches that would really, really want this job come January.
Yeah.
And I would love if Ben Johnson would come be the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a very excellent, great pick. I think, he would definitely show some improvement to our team. And I think overall, that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for somebody who has the experience like him and is able to not, like, I don't mind coaches. I mean, I guess I'll say this. I think definitely if you become a head coach and you're a defensive coordinator, that's great. But also, like, I want somebody who is kind of great on both sides, and I think definitely he's the man for the job for sure.
Yeah, and he's coming from Detroit, which you mentioned. Yeah. We talked about the culture of the Bears, which it's trending up. Good young players, good personalities, good people. He's coming from Detroit, which Dan Campbell, that's his whole thing, is culture, right? Yeah. Dan Campbell is not really an X's and O's offensive guru, whatever. He is we changed the culture in Detroit. And Ben Johnson has been his right-hand man to kind of support him schematically on the offensive side of the ball.
Right, yeah.
They've been a great duo so far. But Ben Johnson has seen all of the good things that Detroit has done culturally to change around their franchise. Bring that element over. Bring the offensive mastermind over to Chicago. And I think that we have, it's been so long since we've had a good coach. Our last good coach, I think, was Lovie Smith.
Yeah.
Matt, I'll give him credit. Matt Nagy had a good year and a half.
Sure, yeah.
But Lovie Smith, he was a good coach.
I wonder what he's doing. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. He got fired after going, I believe it was 10-6, which
crazy.
Bears would kill for 10-6.
10-6 right now. Yeah.
Last thing I'll say about Matt Eberflus, I forgot to mention this earlier. His road record as head coach of the Chicago Bears is 3-17. He is winning. What is that? That's 15% of his games.
Yeah.
He's winning 15% of his games as the head coach of the Bears on the road. All right, let's move on.